So I guess you could say this is like Nike re-releasing the undefeated Air Jordan 4s
to make that millones. No, actually, no, it's not like that. No, it's like Nike selling Converse because they were in the red for too long.
No. I'm segueing it.
No,
I'm segueing it.
I hear you
poor
say.
segue.
Huh? Yeah, it's a
But
good
speaking
segue.
of losses,
No, I wanted to talk about that bit first. In terms of, obviously, we've seen this whole Nike thing with the apparent undefeated 4s drop in.
yeah,
Wu-Tang dunks drop in.
yeah.
There's other shoes that's skipped my mind.
I mean, you've got the breads coming back. You've got the
bread's coming back.
The bread ones.
Oh, ones. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, scary.
Okay.
You've got the
Apparently, Off-White are doing something with Nike.
Off-White have something happening in Milan in the next couple of weeks.
fair. But there's noise around Off-White.
Off-White Nike
something. But
Hopefully it's the bread force.
what's your question about that?
Why do you think that's happening?
Well, I think like certain collaborations get held above others.
Because to put it into context, the undefeated Air Jordan 4, obviously this is a speculation. Nothing has been confirmed. Undefeated 4s, 75 pairs dropped in the first place.
It basically didn't release.
A bit cool. Basically didn't release. 75 pairs worldwide. And this is a real clinch at straws, apparently dropping the shoe. Why would you do that?
I've really sat down and thought about this. Why do people think it's a clutch of straws if it never released?
Because you've gone from one of the most.
It's been too long for them to actually release it.
If they can bring back Kazana Max from '99, they can bring back anything they want.
No, but that's the thing. That's them bringing it. Like this. The difference is it's like. I get what Iman's saying.
The difference is the esteem.
No, but the esteem only came afterwards.
No, it didn't. Okay, bro, they dropped 75.
If someone dropped 75 pairs,
I mean like the reason why we hold it so high is in hindsight, because we didn't actually know how many pairs dropped when they dropped. It wasn't like a worldwide thing.
But it's not like it took 7 years for us to find out how many pairs they dropped.
No, of course.
So it's like the novelty came with the shoes.
Yes.
So it's like. And comparing it to the Sunamaxes, it's like the only reason why it's rare now is because it's been so long, as opposed to the fact that is a GR they've just brought back. They do that with every other shoe.
Yeah.
But this time,
undefeated Air Jordan 4s.
A specific collaboration that has been known for the fact that it had a very limited release. You're now bringing it back, and just after announcing, or just like just
after dropping the linens, which were another.
Not even just that, just the fact that like in a period or like it leaking essentially. In a period of time where we have been aware that Nike has been on the down, especially with the rise of all the other brands. It feels like they just had something in the glove compartment that they've banged out.
Cool. So with the linens, for example,
bringing a gun to a knife fight.
the linens a glorified classic for a lot of OGs.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people didn't have access to the undefeated to even have an opinion on them. So when people are so upset about the fact that they're coming back, I am like, you haven't even seen it in real life.
Wait. Sorry, I didn't know people were upset about this.
No, people are really stressed about the fact that they're coming back. And I feel like even Iman's sentiment towards it is like, why are they bringing it back? Cool, let me ask you a question, yeah?
Go on.
If you're not making money...
Yes, I'm joking. Go on.
If you're not making money, and you know you have something that can make you money,
yeah,
will you release it?
Yes, 100%.
So what are we talking about?
No, that's why I think they've released it, because they needed the bread.
Yeah.
But again, on the flip side, yeah, we are now in 2024. If these shoes coming out next year, we all know maths and numbers. It takes about 12 to 18 months to make a shoe.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's definitely dropping next year, in my opinion, or back in this year.
If the shoe is already in the process of being made,
it
was now 6 months ago. This is before they even announced these figures that we're talking about presently.
But
that was already in the pipeline.
But for me, my thing is that this, I feel like this came about after, or the conversations of what do we need to do to bring the consumer back on our side happened after the pandemic hit. Like, they kind of had to consolidate and understand the damage caused by the increase, essentially, of sales and the rise of all their competitors, and then projecting how the consumer has kind of moved from them incrementally to their rivals, and from there they started to put in
the nostalgia flick isn't working anymore.
No, it is working.
It is working. That's why people are stressed.
And this is why it's one of the things where the nostalgia flick is it's working. It doesn't work in some cases, but we know for a fact if we use this, we have won the year. So if in doubt, we have the machine. This is Goku going Super Saiyan Blue, bro. We know for a fact that he has the machine in his back pocket. If I don't need to bang it, I won't bang it. But it's
loaded and ready to go.
I'm ready. So it doesn't matter about the 0.5% of the consumers that are saying, "Oh, I don't like the fact that they made 75%. They made 75 pairs X amount of years ago.
They're not gonna buy anyways.
Bring it back, bro. That if I now drop 180k pairs,
even
your mum, your dad, and your son are all buying it.
I'll go one step further. It's even bold of you to assume that you might actually win the shoe when it drops.
Fam, it's even bold of you to assume that you have an opinion on what shoes I drop and what I don't drop.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do I pay your bills?
We're going to go back to the Wu-Tang Dunk. Another shoe that was very limited in its release.
Yes.
That people are making noise about saying, oh my gosh, why is it dropping?
Yes.
You didn't even own a pair. They were friends and family, more or less. They went out to specific people. There wasn't even pairs in circulation. Why are you mad now?
Yeah. Furthermore, on top of that, like just last year?
Back to back.
No. Last year we had a Wu-Tang documentary come out.
Yeah.
So it's only right that at that time, the fact that documentary did so well, that these were put into production to come back.
No, so actually, I was reading about the Wu-Tang Dunks, and apparently they were actually trying to bring them back in 2021.
Yeah.
They couldn't get it signed off.
Yeah.
And it was a whole back and forth of issues.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to 2024, and it seems like it seems like they've managed to get it signed off to make it happen, because Drew Greers went on Complex Sneakers and explained that basically only 36 pairs of the shoes were made.
Yeah.
And they were given to like friends and family essentially. So I think one thing people were complaining about was the whole thing of the heel tab where the Wu-Tang logo is being like a sticker rather than embroidered on. And I'm just like, I feel like people get so entitled they don't realize, and they start nitpicking at stuff that they actually didn't even have access to in the first place. Like, if the initial pair was embroidered on, surely you'd want there to be a difference from the original to this rehashed version coming out.
On top of that, are these official images?
Yeah, Nike posted like the buzzing bees around the black and yellow dunk earlier a few months back, 2 months back.
Yeah.
So that was for the Wu-Tang.
But have we seen official images of the Wu-Tang?
No.
Not in hand images. No.
Exactly. So this is just all speculation.
Yeah, facts.
At this point. So you're complaining about speculation, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, not you, but whoever
they are
complaining about speculation.
Yeah.
Like, did these guys have this much vim when Pirates were dropping all these mock-ups?
And like, obviously, we want to go back to speak about Nike's value.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was just convenient for people to have the excuse of Nike's value dropping when these things are coming out, because same way
I think it was just all coincidental.
when all the shoe surgeon stuff came out, I saw people on the timeline saying, oh, it's because Nike are losing money so they're suing everybody. And it's like, if you know,
yes, I know
how Nike have been suing people, it's progressively been consistent. Every couple months there's somebody else being sued.
Here we go.
They had a hit list. They're just checking it off every quarter, and
it progressively gets louder because they're suing more and more people.
So that's funny. Like, can you imagine? Yeah, you're in a meeting. Oh, we're down on numbers. Who do we need to sue?
Because like, even think like in the pandemic,
I said, you're not making target, and then to make target, you sue people to make money. Go on, continue.
Like
in the pandemic,
we had. I think that was the first time I saw about Nike suing people, because I'm sure it was still happening, but I just didn't really see about it, and I wasn't as clued into the game as I was from pandemic onwards. So in the pandemic, I remember they sued John Geiger on his shoe.
Oh yeah,
that was the first time I saw it.
Good time that.
And since I've seen him getting sued, everybody else that gets sued, I've seen regularly.
Yeah.
If it's Skechers, I'm seeing it. If it's New Balance, I'm seeing it. Although they're a bit quiet because it's like,
if it's Primed, I'm seeing it. If it's
they're opening cases on all their asses. You think you can do this to me?
Snitching on my ass.
The shoe surgeon one is
crazy.
even funny because he definitely took the mick.
Yeah.
Like we warned you and tapped you and said, bro, and I'm like, just stop what you're doing, man.
It's a matter of time.
We love you, bro. Like we got real love for you, brother. But cool down, innit?
I can't
Calm
lie.
down.
Yeah. His recent posts have been killing me.
He's so funny.
He's such a.
He's so funny.
You know, he reminds me of. You
Someone
know,
doesn't read the room.
You know the guy who posted on his story like, "Oh, baby, we could let's contour, let's get back together."
Let's mix, let's blend, let's contour.
That's what he.
Right.
That's, bro, he's basically saying that in footwear terms. In some of his posts.
So, but I think like, on that aside, I just feel like Nike's values are more to what Bolu said earlier. They're reminiscent of the boom they had in the pandemic, and also the fallout of that boom, which is the victim of success, in the fact that they sold so many shoes that people had enough. Like it's that simple. They sold so much more product than everybody else, and people kept buying it and it kept selling out. Normal Jordan 1s, normal, selling out. You don't think people get tired?
Yeah.
It's the whole consumerism aspect of it, of like, oh my gosh, FOMO, everyone else is buying it, I need it. Yeah. And now that they have it, it's like, oh, actually,
I'm alright.
You know the Toy Story meme where they throw Woody to the side?
Yeah, because he's done with... Yeah.
I got a new toy now, and that new toy is
New Balance
a
550.
Salomon or a New Balance. It just happens that those new toys come with crazy comfort.
Yeah.
So now not only have they filled the void, they've also made a case to stay.
And I think this is where John Donahue kind of was at fault, because if we look at his new legacy in the company, he was appointed as Nike CEO on January the 13th, 2020.
Yeah, after my birthday.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. He comes from a different background in terms of tech. He came from eBay and he's worked for ServiceNow. These are two very tech-driven companies that work as e-commerce. They work online sales. They're not really physical. There's no physical eBay store. So when he came on during the pandemic, obviously, I think he came on just before the pandemic. Yeah, pandemic was 2020 March.
Yeah, a couple months before. That's a peak time to get in, you know.
Yeah, bro.
That's tense.
But it worked in his favor because
so online based.
Exactly, coming from e-commerce, there was already a route. I think at that time Nike had 4 apps running D2C, direct to consumer. Obviously, being a pandemic, Nike kind of severed their ties with
What apps? What do they have?
sneakers,
Yeah.
Nike app, Nike training app,
Nike Run Club.
Nike Run Club.
But what? Okay, cool.
Because you can also purchase with
You can purchase on all 4 of these
I didn't know you
apps.
could purchase
Yeah.
on the Nike Run Club or the Nike
Yeah, it'll be
training.
fitness. It'll be fitness attire.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
So they had 4 apps running e-commerce. If we're looking at our scene, you could purchase off Nike.com.
Yeah.
Nike sneakers you could purchase off. Even
Try.
got to a point where they had too much stock where they were doing the whole Wednesday thing, which was like a year or 2 ago. So
Still this year, pretty sure.
Some stores.
okay, then
Yeah.
it's been running we know it's been running for a while.
For a little while, yeah.
So for John Donahue coming in, basically not having to change because there is no change for him, because that market just stayed the same. And then I think during pandemic, Air Jordan 1 highs were going up for a 61% premium on the resale market. Nike shares soared 40% in 2020 and as much as 25.1% in 2021. In its fiscal... 25.5% in 2021.
Yeah.
So they were making a lot of money during that time.
They were stacking breads.
They were stacking bread.
They were eating.
But the problem is, as I was saying before, when you have somebody who's in on something and good on something, and he's not too... I don't want to say involved because he is involved. Like, you know what company you're coming to. But he's not really on the more physical retail side where stores are now opening up and people are now going into stores to buy footwear. Not everybody's on Nike sneakers. Not everybody's online.
I don't prescribe to that idea.
No, because they had severed ties with a lot of their wholesale and their retailers.
But they severed ties for good reason.
Huh?
At the time of the pandemic, you can't tell me that you knew in a year's time we'd be outside. At the peak of the pandemic,
Yeah.
you can't tell me that at the time we were experiencing that, there wasn't a thought that was like, oh, we actually don't know how long it's going to go on for.
Yeah.
And you have people wasting stock. Sorry to But for example, like Foot Locker, who weren't selling as much as their other subsidiaries, and it's like we might as well keep this because we're selling everything. We need more product anyway. So cool. At the time period of the pandemic, there's an economic term to describe what they were experiencing. They're experiencing supernormal profits, which is excessive profits more than the normal profits.
Yeah.
Because there were so many people buying.
Yeah.
With supernormal profits, it can't always be sustained for a long period of time. And as we have seen, they've now gone from making supernormal profits to a marginal loss. But if you take them up to the 29% and bring them down by 20%,
they're still
in the last 5
up.
years, they're still 9% up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it looks more elevated.
bad.
It looks bad because last year Hoka overtook Nike, Adidas, New Balance, and Converse as number 2 top selling sneaker brand on StockX, which is funny. The French sportswear company Salomon has the resale site's top selling shoe.
And I feel like, again, when was resale ever the metric for sales?
It isn't, but
Because
it kind of
because like to Michael's point as well, because we're not Nike. Like, this is what we spoke about last time as well. Like
Nike sells shoes.
produce so much more shoes compared to Hoka and Salomon, to a point where it's like, yeah, their most resold shoe could be a Salomon, but that could be 5k pairs. Nike push out 250k pairs of Air Forces every week.
Hoka might not have as many SKUs as Jordan brand, let alone Nike. Salomon same way. So it's like, I say that to say, Nike makes so much more in categories and also in product numbers that if we're going to use StockX as a metric, the only reason why these other brands will have higher selling shoes, quote unquote, is because they sell significantly less. So their shoes are rarer on a worldwide sort of platform. If you have somebody that has like £5,000 towards a singular pair of Salomons, and they only made 75,000 worldwide, of course it's going to be more valuable, quote unquote, than the pair of Jordans,
scarcity,
which are like double the amount. Of course, it's just maths.
Yeah.
And I feel like, to your point about CEOs, again, I don't agree with the fact that CEOs determine how companies move fully. In the fact that, yes, John Donahue is a CEO of Nike, but there's still a whole marketing team that takes care of the marketing aspect. There's still a whole retail ops team that takes care of retail ops from country to country. They're based in regional aspects. So, for example, a friend of ours, he takes care of a few of the London stores, your Offsprings, your Ends, your Size, your Foot Lockers. Those are his remit, and his team oversee that. Then within his team, he has individuals that oversee stores. Again, another friend of ours oversees specific stores. So, like, I say that to say, we can't judge Nike's losses based on the fact that John Donahue took power or took the CEO role, simply because there's so many factors that actually don't affect him.
Yeah,
I understand that, but at the same time, it's his yes and his no.
See, like, fundamentally, or if you look at the whole, if you look at the organization,
yes,
like high level, you could say yes, it's his yes and his no. But there's a lot of yeses and nos that have to happen before it comes to his yes and his no.
You think he sits down with every collaboration and says yes or no?
No. In terms,
like, it's very rare that a lot of the issues you raised are, from my perspective, anyways, are escalated to his level. His is like the general operations, general movements kind of thing.
Yeah.
Generally,
you can't get too intricate.
But when it comes to, like, for example, opening and shutting down stores, for example, it is very much a thing where, from my understanding, a particular team
will take care of that and be like, oh, they're not clearing the money we need to, or this account isn't making as much sales as we need them to. Let's reduce their account or close their account.
It's a general vision, though.
Yeah, it's a general vision, but you can't say his general vision is to close down stores.
It has nothing to do with him. You think?
If you're making a lot of money in e-commerce, and you can do D2C,
it has nothing to do with that.
That's different, though, because you're forgetting that's
even an e-commerce team that takes care of that.
If you look at the pandemic here, the pandemic was peak in terms of retailers, because you have staff to take care of. Like, when you now think about it, as a brand now, if, let's say, for example, half of my stock I keep, half of my stock I sell at 40% to retailers.
Yeah.
Like, I have X million amount of staff to take care of. Yeah, I'm in a extreme high profit for now. I don't know how long that's going to last. So I'm going to need to try to maximize that for as long as I can, which means reducing the amount I give to other retailers at 40% so I can make 100% and I can basically create a bank. So in case the pandemic flops or something happens, I can still make sure all my staff are paid for.
Or in the event that they can't be paid for,
fire them.
no, because look, let me tell you what he would do. He would have his team as well that looks at stuff, and they'll be like, yeah, can't lie, the way we're moving is unsustainable right now. We need to cut so much here, yeah, and they'll be like, cool, we need to reduce spending by $1 million, for example.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then he'll be like, they'll in discussion with his team, how much does that equate to in terms of jobs? We need to maybe get rid of like
25K.
Maybe like
Worldwide.
10% of the business worldwide.
Okay, yeah.
How do we do that? It's then down to the heads of each department to say, who is the most expendable person here, unfortunately, that I can get rid of and compile a list.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, then they will start getting rid of people and moving people around. That's how the business will move.
And let them
it has
know,
nothing to do with the fact that it comes from
school.
tech and nothing to do with the fact that it comes from a different world. It's just the business needs to run better.
Yeah.
It's fat right now. We need to loosen that fat. We need to be more lean. And that's how it is. It's just very dark and it's business.
But I do feel like it's because of the period of time as well. It was very much a thing where like getting rid of people is our last option.
Yeah.
But if we could, whatever we could do right now.
Can you imagine that's the first thing they did before everything else?
That's why everyone. You have to think like, obviously, that's why they even announced in advance of this. Because people forget. 6 months before, Nike said, we're making less Jordans. We're going to cut down the amount of shoes we make per shoe.
We're going to cut down the number of shoes we make in more known silhouettes. And we're going to start increasing the lesser known silhouettes, if that makes sense.
I don't think they said the latter.
I'm sure it's we're going to reduce the amount of Jordan 1s and Air Forces
that we make. I think that was the end of the statement. I don't know if they gave context to the rest of it.
Okay.
But you know what I found very interesting about that? Like from what I have seen ish, even though I don't have like full numbers, it did feel like they've reduced the number they've made, but the amount they've kept the number that they sell through Nike relatively the same. And just reduce the amount they then give to retailers.
Others.
Yeah,
because
so
that
D2C
increases. Yeah, but that in a sense increases because they've seen that retailers can create a level of hype around the product that if it sells out with them and Nike's your last option, it's done.
Exactly, because like in reality, if I get no amount, if I give you 10, if I give you 100, you're still gonna have to market it.
Yeah,
and you marketing it's still gonna help me. So if I'd rather give you 10, keep that extra 90. You do the same thing you had to regardless with that budget, and then I now sell all the others because people come to your store and be like, oh yeah, ready sold
coming out of the pandemic, you know they did a complete U-turn and went back to stores.
Yeah, but again, you're acting like we realized that we're coming out of the pandemic. I think it's not very easy to assume that the time that we were in, we were going to come back outside.
Yeah.
People were stockpiling shoes for whatever reason. They didn't know where they were going.
Mood.
They didn't know where they were going. Did I know where I was going? I was copying shoes.
Bro,
no one knew, bro.
Go for a walk, bro.
No one knew. Like, you could even barely do that.
Yeah.
They had police on the roads saying you should go back
so
inside your
crazy.
house. So, and like, I feel like people are very fickle in the fact that they ignore all of that context around the pandemic and the way they're operating and the fact that they were trying to be like, all right, cool. If we're just doing e-commerce because there's no stores open, we can't even go and do like, for example, personal shopping experiences. People can't leave their houses at all, period. So them pouring all of their efforts and might into e-commerce, into your heating ups, into your live experiences online, it only made sense. It was the only option. How else are they going to make money?
Not even just that. How else are they going to stay relevant?
What? We should keep the stores open and do what? Stock's just sitting there. It's not going anywhere.
Like fundamentally, the shoes are for walking. I can't go outside. I need to still keep shoes relevant to the consumer somehow while they stay at home.
And that's why when we all started heating up, it was an immediate connection to the audience because they were like, oh my gosh, we're at home, but there's somebody like us that's telling us about the latest releases, and we want to know what's going on. Same way with Luch in America. Oh, like, yeah, we definitely want to know what's going on with these releases. Thanks for giving our context, you know? And as that's grown and grown, it's then been become an actual outlet for Nike to even sell products through those situations as well. Which at first when it started, maybe they didn't see.
E-commerce, D2C. I'm taking a mic, guys.
But and then cool, the doors opened. The government said, actually, you know what? We can be outside again. Every company's like, oh, actually,
Thank you. We're sorry.
Because you again, some companies
Nike
were
were on their knees.
No, but some companies were like, I think it worked out for Nike going more D2C than stores, to be fair. But I feel like some stores didn't go the e-commerce route and they died in the pandemic.
Yeah, it's true. We saw them.
So it's like, damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, this was all to generate conversation, but yeah, it's really interesting in terms of.
So I feel like the losses, it's not been great. They've had to fire people. That's been sad. Yeah. Some people literally clocked into the office one day and in the following couple of days,
some people got fired over Zoom.
Bro, like
that's tense.
It's not. It wasn't nice. All in all, obviously, like it wasn't nice to see how Nike had to operate, but
at all. Even for like just in the whole any brand.
Do you know what I'm saying? And of course, it wasn't just them that's affected because we've been following stories of things like your Farfetches and other companies that have gone through having to sell their company, and their supporter, for example. Yeah, like they've not been able to do what they're doing because the economy's changed, and if you can't evolve, that's it. Yeah. So it's not just a Nike problem. I think Nike's problem is exasperated because they're so big. Yeah. And people like to talk about Nike when they're not doing well.
I've said this time and time again, and I feel like we all know this as individuals, but I just want to reiterate this. Nike are still they are still head and shoulders
sort of big dog
ahead of everybody. It's just that
when things go wrong, it's bigger.
It's like
much louder.
Just sorry to bring it back to football, but it's like Man City losing 5 games in a row. Their season's done. No, it's not. They're still gonna go win the league.
But yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was very insightful, very passionate, but I think this is what we had to do. Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on the situation. Let us know your thoughts on Nike, and if you feel like they can recover from this, and is it a thing they really recover from, or is it just the new state now that they're in? And same with Supreme. Like, do you feel like the doors will open for them next? Do you think there's more opportunities there for them to evolve? Or is this the beginning and the end in the most, violent terms?
Beginning of the end for Supreme is a crazy thing to think about.
Crazy.
That was not on my 2016 cards.
Right.
2016.
I don't know what he was in 2016. What were you doing?
2016, 2017. That's when Supreme was hot back then.
Yeah, relatively so.
If you was to say, oh yeah, you're gonna die in 7 years. Oh, okay. It's gonna be like, what? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, guys, on that note, thank you for watching today's episode. As always, we've been your hosts, Eman, Michael, and Bolly. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to comment,
smash that like button.
Let us know your thoughts as we've already said. Comment. And yeah, man, keep up with us on socials. We're always talking about stuff,
Push that notification bell.
And yeah, on that note, guys, before everyone starts geeking out too much, we'll catch you in the next one.
Begin.
Adios.